Hello friends, with you again Movi. In today's video, we will talk with you about a 6-year-old boy soldier who contributed to the fight against the Nazis in World War II. This film is based on real events and presented to the public. If you are ready, then we will start. In one of the remote villages of Russia, a small family spends their time productively by the river. Seryoza, the youngest child in the family, is sitting on top of a tree watching the surroundings. At the same time, his mother and brother were busy with their work. The German Air Force appeared in the sky, and Seryoza's brother and mother were noticed by them. Since Seryoza was on a tree, the Germans did not notice him. Seryoza's mother and brother try to escape, but they are captured by the Germans and killed. After a while, Seryoza got down from the tree and went home, and seeing that there was no one at home, he fell asleep waiting for his family members. After a while, his sleep is disturbed and he wakes up when he hears a knock on the door. He opens the door hoping that his mother and brother have returned home, but a woman who is their neighbor comes in there. His neighbor cries to Seryoza that he will not see his mother and brother again and tries to take him with him, explaining that he needs to run away from here as soon as possible. But German soldiers appear outside the house. The neighbor woman and Seryoza try to escape through the window. Seryoza managed to escape by jumping out of the window, but her neighbor remained inside the house and died in the hands of the Germans. The Germans set their village on fire and all the houses are burnt to ashes. Seryoza is horrified to see the Germans doing this and tries to run away to the forest. He runs through the forest and cries for his mother in the dark night. Lost in the middle of the night in the forest, Seryoza continues on his way despite being hungry. The next day, when Seryoza was drinking water by the river, he saw German soldiers. In order to hide from them, he moves slowly and enters the hollow of the surrounding tree. Seryoza quietly waits for the Germans to leave. The Germans don't notice the boy and take a break and eat by the river. At that moment, the snake approaches Seryoza in the tree hole, but the 6-year-old boy catches himself and waits for the snake to leave without making a sound. After having lunch, the Germans continue on their way. Hungry, Seryoza rushes to eat what was left of them, but there was nothing left. After that, he continues walking through the forest. Seryoza falls down several times on his way because he is so tired and exhausted. But he does not give up and continues to walk. When he was trying to fill his stomach with wild plants and herbs that he found on his way, the Germans threw explosive weapons towards the forest. The boy, frightened by this situation, tries to run away with all his might and faints in the forest. The next day, Russian intelligence soldiers find him and bring him to the Russian soldiers' headquarters. Kuznetsov, the commander-in-chief of the military unit, meets 6-year-old Seryoza, who has regained consciousness, and the boy tells him about his experiences. Commander Kuznetsov, who heard about the events, orders the soldiers to take care of the boy who lost his family. The next day, the soldiers bring Seryoza to a hospital on a military base to treat his injuries. There, a friendly nurse named Katya takes care of the boy and bandages his wounds. Seryoza gets to know other wounded soldiers there and says that he wants to become a soldier himself. After a while, Commander Kuznetsov came to Seryoza to find out about his condition. Seryoza says that she envies him after seeing his medals on his military uniform and the pistol in his hand. When Kuznetsov went out, Nurse Katya came to him and asked him to take the boy with them, who was nowhere to be found. In response, the commander says that it is dangerous for the boy to stay here and that he will be sent to an orphanage. At this time, other soldiers from the military base also came to Seryoza to inquire about his condition and gave him military weapons and talked to him. A few days later, the Germans attacked the Russian military base. As a result of the sudden attack, many Russian soldiers are killed and injured. At this time, the commander is trying to send Seryoza to an orphanage, thinking about Seryoza's safety, but because the commander is used to the boy, he changes his mind and adopts Seryoza as his son. Then he orders his son a military uniform and boots so that he can move on the field. The next day, the commander woke up the boy and told him that he had brought him new clothes. The commander teaches the boy to dress faster, telling Seryoza that a real soldier can get dressed before a matchstick burns out. Since Seryoza is wearing such clothes for the first time, she tries several times, but this result was enough for the boy. Seryoza is proud of his new uniform. Then suddenly the Germans attack and the real battle begins. Thousands of soldiers were killed and wounded in this battle. Sensing the situation on the real battlefield, Seryoza gets scared during the battle and takes cover. After that, the young boy constantly administers medicine to the soldiers injured in the battle. At the same time, Seryoza tries to read the letters from home to the soldiers, but he cannot read because he does not know how to read yet. The boy hides his illiteracy from the soldiers and starts telling funny stories to cheer them up. The next day, Commander Kuznetsov meets Nurse Katya and wants to tell her that he loves her, but the commander does not have the courage to do so and turns the conversation away. The boy, who has lived on the battlefield for a while, asks the commander to give him a more serious task and says that he is ready for it. The commander, trusting the boy, gives him the task of distributing letters to the soldiers to their owners. The next day, Seryoza takes the task of observing the surroundings on the assignment of his father. Looking around with binoculars, he sees a suspicious person hiding among the branches. Seryoza rushes to convey this news to the soldiers, but the soldiers do not listen to the words of the young boy. After a while, the soldiers decide to go to the place the boy told them just in case. Russian soldiers go to the place Seryoza told them to. They see German soldiers there and capture them. At this moment, the German soldiers were planning a surprise attack against the Russians by gathering information about their military headquarters. The commander, who heard about Seryoza's heroism, said that he was proud of the boy and showed him the document that officially adopted him as his son. The next day, the Germans began to attack the Russian camp again. At the moment, the young soldier is engaged in delivering ammunition and weapons to his comrades. Thus, as the war continues, communication between Russian military units is lost for some reasons. To solve this problem, the commander-in-chief assigns a task to one of the soldiers. A soldier who started to perform his duty was seriously injured and fell down on the way. Seryoza receives information from a dying soldier on how to restore communication, and undertakes the task. The boy succeeds in repairing the break in the communication cable. After the communication was restored, the Russian military units opened fire on the Germans from different angles and won the battle this time. After the retreat of the Germans, Commander Kuznetsov meets Nurse Katya again and this time tells her that he loves her. One of the soldiers approaches them while Nurse Katya is also telling her feelings for him. The soldier gives Kuznetsov a letter about a new assignment from the general. After this news, the commander decided to change the address with the soldiers. Meanwhile, when Seryoza tells his father that he wants to use a real weapon, they come across a mine planted by the Germans. Some of the soldiers are killed and a few are seriously injured, but they continue on. The commander and his soldiers arrive before the general. Talking to Kuznetsov, the general learns about the bravery of the young soldier and, in front of all the soldiers, honors Seryoza and puts a medal on him. The young soldier is proud of this achievement and says that he will serve his motherland, and the soldiers return to their place in front of him. The next day, while the father and son were walking and talking, the commander fell into a German trap. Seeing this, Seryoza tries to save his father, and because he is not strong enough, he calls other soldiers to help him and succeeds in saving his father. Seryoza's father is hospitalized due to severe injuries. His son and Nurse Katya come to check on him. The boy laments that he loves his father very much. Nurse Katya also admits that she loves Commander Kuznetsov and agrees to become Seryoza's mother. So they become a family, and after the commander recovers, they go to fight against the Germans again. Thus, Seryoza will go down in history as a young soldier who took part in the war. Like the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.